These are the 3 things that I want you to keep in mind after you send an email, right? So know that metrics matter, understand what those metrics mean, use that data to make decisions for future campaigns, and then focus on the click-through rate, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So when it comes to opens, basically a good open rate means that the recipient knows who you are, so they recognize the sender, and they probably recognize that you're sending really good content, or you probably promised them this content, and so they're expecting it, right? So a good open rate is an indicator of those things. And so it means also that you have an interested audience, right? If your open rate continues to go high or continues to be great, that means your audience is liking what you're sending. It also means that you are probably sending it around the best time. You're sending it at the right timing. And that takes a little bit of finessing. In Constant Contact, I will share with you that we do, after you send out 3 email campaigns, there's like an algorithm in the product that will basically take the last 3 campaigns you sent, and based on the open rates and the click-through rates of the people, it will recommend a time based on that algorithm. So if you're feeling stuck and you don't know, should I send it at 5 a.m., should I send it at 8 a.m., take a look at the recommendation we're making, and that may be able to help you as well. So that's open rates, okay? And so here you're looking at a report that shows you who opened my email. So you can know exactly who from your contact list opened the email. Now, across industries, the average open rate is 30%, between 18 and 28%, I'm sorry. So if you are, I have customers that come up to me and they're bummed because, their open rate is at 50%. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And they're like stunned. They're like, what do you mean? 50% is terrible. Only half of the people are opening it. And I tell them, across industries, it's 18 to 28%. Social media, anybody want to take a guess what social media rate is for impressions? It's about 2% right now. So, you obviously have to pay to play now with social media and be able to boost those posts. So we're still beating that number. Okay, so click-through rates. So for me, a good open rate is amazing, but a better click-through rate is even better for me, because that tells me that when they opened up the email, I was very clear about what I wanted them to do. So click-throughs are an indicator that will let you know that people actually did click on the read more, they did click on the download, they did click on the RSVP. And so you want to be able to know if people are clicking on them, so that you know for sure that people are coming to your website. So it's a great way to measure success, and it's also a great way to identify an engaged audience. So what do I mean by that is that in this report right here, so I'm showing that I had 78 click-throughs on the different links, but I'm showing that the 3rd link for some reason got 74, right? So I can technically click on those 74, and let's say it was a poll or something that you included, or an article about traveling abroad, right? And so if you realize that 74 people clicked on that article, you may be able to start, you may think about sending more articles about that, because they're interested, they're telling you, they're clicking. So click-through rates are a good indicator of what to send as well. Across industries, we're looking at a 15 to 18% click-through rate, okay? And that's automatically going to be calculated for you, so you don't have to do that. Okay, so what do you do with the do not opens, right? Do you ignore them? Do you just forget about them? There's a lot of things you can actually do with the do not opens. In some cases, you can take all of the people that did not open them and add them to a separate list, and maybe send the email again later that week with a different subject line to see if maybe the subject line gets them to open it. Maybe it's the timing. Maybe you want to test it out and say, I sent that one out in the morning. Let me send it out in the afternoon and see what kind of reaction I get from the people that haven't opened up the email. So when it comes to the do not opens, don't just forget them, okay? There's still things that you can do with them. Okay, so, and then the opt-outs. So what happens when somebody wants to opt out of your email? They're telling you, I no longer want to receive your emails. So there's two things that you want to, that an opt-out tells you. If you have a high, all of a sudden like a spike in opt-outs, that's telling me that either the content that you're sending is not relevant, right? Because people maybe are like, oh, they're just being too promotional. All they're sending me is discounts, and I'm not interested in that. So they're opting out, right? So when you have a high opt-out rate, it means that maybe the information you're sending is not relevant, okay? Now, one cool new feature with the unsubscribes now is that when you go to unsubscribe through Constant Contact or your subscribers, you can actually give them one final option to tell you why they're leaving, and then also adjust their email settings. So for example, if I'm sending quarterly emails and somebody goes to opt out of my newsletter, I can perhaps say, oh, you know, I don't want to see you go. Do you want to receive only yearly emails from me? Yes. Okay. So it's one way for you to capture them again before they leave. Okay, and it's a way for you to also segment those people and email them yearly. So maybe you'll email them at the beginning of the year. Maybe you'll email them on their birthday, right? So that's information that you can find out from the opt-outs. Okay. So those were all the things.
Awesome.
So any questions about the analytics?
Okay.